If you're over 65, the nuts in your pantry could be quietly sabotaging your health. You heard that right. Some of the most popular nuts, the ones you might snack on every day, can raise your blood pressure, clog your arteries, and even trigger inflammation that leads to joint pain, weight gain, and memory loss. According to the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging, certain high-fat, heavily salted nuts are directly linked to heart problems and stroke risk in older adults. But here's what most people don't realize: just 4 specific kinds of nuts can actually reverse that damage. They can protect your heart, fuel your brain, and even help keep your muscles strong as you age. In this video, I'll show you exactly which nuts to toss, and which ones could help you live longer, move better, and feel sharper every single day after 65. Because at our age, what you eat isn't just food. It's medicine, or it's poison. Now let me be clear, I'm not here to scare you away from eating nuts. In fact, the right ones can be one of the best things you add to your diet. They're packed with protein, healthy fats, fiber, and essential vitamins. But the trick is knowing which ones help, and which ones quietly hurt you. Let me tell you a quick story about one of my patients, Margaret, 71 years old, spry, independent, and sharp as a tack. She came in a few months ago complaining about joint stiffness, a little extra weight gain around the belly, and her blood pressure had been creeping up. Nothing alarming, but enough to make her feel off. She thought maybe it was just aging. But when we went over her diet, something stood out. She'd been snacking every evening on a bowl of mixed nuts. Not a bad habit, right? Except when we looked closer, it was loaded with salted cashews, or roasted peanuts, and a generous helping of sugary glazed pecans. The label read, "Heart-healthy snack," but that couldn't have been further from the truth for someone her age. Here's the issue. As we get older, our metabolism slows down, our blood vessels stiffen, and our kidneys don't flush sodium as efficiently. That means every handful of salty or fatty nuts hits our system harder than it used to. What might have been fine in our 40s or 50s can now spike blood pressure, trigger inflammation, or worsen cholesterol. Take roasted cashews, for example. They're high in oxalates, compounds that, in sensitive individuals, can contribute to kidney stones. Peanuts? Often roasted in cheap vegetable oils that are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. And when those are out of balance with omega-3s, they can promote chronic inflammation, especially in the joints. That's something many older adults don't realize until their knees start aching for no reason. And then there's the salt. Oh, the salt. Many commercial nut mixes come with over 200 milligrams of sodium in just one handful. Do that every day, and you're adding an extra burden to your heart, kidneys, and even your brain. So what did Margaret do? She made a simple switch. She replaced her snack with raw almonds and a few walnuts. No salt, no oils, just clean nutrition. Within weeks, the bloating eased up, her energy returned, and her next blood pressure reading dropped by 10 points. It wasn't magic. It was just understanding how her body had changed, and learning to work with it, not against it. Now, let's talk about the good guys, the nuts that actually support your health after 65. These are the ones I recommend most often to my older patients, and there's real science behind why they work. Let's start with almonds. They may look humble, but don't underestimate them. Almonds are packed with vitamin E, which isn't just good for your skin, it's a powerful antioxidant that helps protect your cells from damage. Think of it as a little shield for your heart, your brain, and even your immune system. On top of that, almonds are rich in magnesium, a mineral that helps with muscle function, nerve communication, and keeping your heart rhythm steady. And here's something most people don't know: almonds are also great for your gut. They're high in fiber, which not only helps digestion but also feeds the healthy bacteria in your intestines. That matters because more and more research is showing that your gut health affects your whole body, including inflammation, energy levels, even mood. Next up, walnuts. These are the brain boosters. Walnuts are one of the best plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, especially alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. These fats are crucial for reducing inflammation throughout the body, and they've been shown to support brain health, memory, and cognitive function. In fact, a study published in Nutrients found that older adults who consumed walnuts regularly performed better on memory tests than those who didn't. And here's a fun fact: if you cut open a walnut and look at the shape, it even looks like a tiny brain. Maybe nature's way of leaving us a hint. Then there's pistachios, small, green, and mighty. These are lower in fat compared to other nuts, but they're high in protein, fiber, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which help protect your eyes from age-related decline. Pistachios also contain compounds that help regulate blood sugar, which is especially important if you're managing diabetes or trying to keep your energy steady throughout the day. Last but not least, hazelnuts. They don't get as much attention, but they should. Hazelnuts are rich in folate, vitamin B6, and healthy monounsaturated fats, all of which support heart health and nervous system function. If you've ever noticed tingling in your hands or feet, or had trouble with coordination, B vitamins like these can be especially important. Now I know what you're thinking. Doctor, am I supposed to eat all 4 of these every day? And the answer is no, you don't have to. Even just picking 1 or 2 and adding a small handful to your daily routine can make a difference over time. And I do mean small. A proper serving of nuts is about 1 ounce, roughly the size of a small, closed handful. That's enough to get the benefits without overdoing the calories or fat. It's also best to eat them raw or dry roasted, without added salt or oils. And if you buy them in bulk or prepackaged, check that label. You'd be surprised how many so-called healthy mixes are packed with sugar, preservatives, or inflammatory oils. Little changes, like switching from salted peanuts to plain almonds, may seem minor, but over the weeks and months, they can lead to big shifts in how you feel. Lighter, clearer, stronger. And that's the goal, isn't it? Now, I know that even when something is healthy, it doesn't always sit well with everyone. That's especially true when it comes to digestion, something that changes quite a bit as we age. I've had many patients tell me, "Doctor, I tried adding nuts to my diet, but they just don't agree with me." And I always say the same thing: your body is trying to communicate. Let's listen carefully, and adjust accordingly. First, let's talk about portion size again. Even the healthiest nuts can cause bloating, stomach discomfort, or diarrhea if you eat too much at once, especially if your digestive system is slowing down, which is common after 60. If you're new to eating raw or high-fiber nuts, start with just a few, maybe 5 or 6 almonds, and see how your body reacts over a few days. Slowly increase from there if you feel okay. Another tip: chew thoroughly. Sounds simple, but it makes a real difference. Nuts are dense. If they're not well chewed, your stomach has to work overtime to break them down, and that can lead to gas or discomfort. So take your time. Make eating a mindful act, not a rush snack. Now, if you're taking medications like blood thinners, blood pressure meds, or diabetes medications, you'll want to be extra cautious. Nuts, especially walnuts and almonds, are rich in potassium and magnesium, which can affect blood pressure. If you're already on medication, combining the two might lead to dizziness or even low blood pressure. That's not a reason to avoid nuts, but it is a reason to speak with your doctor or pharmacist first. And here's something not many people talk about: dental issues. As we get older, cracked teeth, dentures, or gum sensitivity can make chewing hard nuts uncomfortable, or downright risky. If that's the case, try soaking your nuts in water for a few hours to soften them up. Or better yet, blend them into a smoothie or use unsweetened nut butter. Just make sure it has no added sugar, oil, or salt. Lastly, be mindful of allergies. Even if you've never had an allergy before, it is possible to develop sensitivities later in life. If you notice itching in the mouth, tightness in the throat, or digestive upset every time you eat a certain type of nut, stop and get it checked. It's always better to be cautious. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be informed. The goal is to feel better, not to follow a rigid plan. Every small improvement, whether it's switching to healthier nuts, eating them more mindfully, or just listening to your body more closely, adds up to a stronger, steadier you. I've seen it happen. One of my patients, George, 76, used to avoid nuts entirely because of stomach issues. But once we switched him to soaked almonds and a little walnut butter in his morning oatmeal, his energy came back, his blood sugar stabilized, and even his sleep improved. And more than anything, he felt like he was back in control of his body again. And that's what this is really about. Giving you the tools to take control of your health, one choice at a time. Let's be honest, at our age, we've all heard the advice before: eat healthy, move more, sleep well. But what we don't hear enough is how to make those changes feel doable, realistic, and even enjoyable in everyday life. Because real health doesn't come from overhauling everything overnight. It comes from small, steady shifts, like choosing almonds instead of cookies, or adding a spoonful of walnut butter to your oatmeal instead of skipping breakfast altogether. Tiny decisions, repeated daily, become habits. And habits? That's where the magic happens. I've had patients in their 70s and 80s tell me they feel better now than they did in their 50s, not because they followed some strict diet or gave up every food they loved, but because they made simple, intentional choices. They paid attention. They stayed curious. And they refused to accept that getting older meant giving up. That's the mindset I want to encourage in you today. Now, you don't have to eat nuts every day. But if you do, make them the right ones. Keep a little container of raw almonds in your bag. Stir some ground hazelnuts into your yogurt. Share a handful of pistachios with your grandkids. Let it be something that nourishes both your body and your spirit. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about protection. About giving your heart, your brain, your muscles, and your joints the quiet support they need to carry you forward, strong and steady, into whatever's next. So as you head into your day, maybe take a look at that snack drawer. Ask yourself, is this helping me, or holding me back? Because at our age, every bite really does matter. And the right ones, even something as simple as a handful of nuts, can make a world of difference. If you find this helpful, give it a thumbs up. If not, type 0 in the comments, but if it helps, let us know by typing 1. And don't forget to subscribe for more life-saving health tips.